Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for taking the time and for carving some time out of your day to be with us here today. We normally give a minute or two. We get entertained by a wonderful fact from our very own Alex the Flam. But I was advised and I was asked by my colleague here today that we keep it moving. So no time to waste. There is a lot of info we're going to hope to relay over the next 45 minutes or so. So let's just jump right in. Uh, what you may have noticed if you've worked in this space, or if you're been around forever, or if you're just new to the Microsoft way of working when it comes to CSP, well, there are changes periodically, maybe more than any of us care to really think about. But a lot of changes. The good news here, though, is that we have an Alex and we have a Lewis, and we get to help you demystify and make sense of all the excitement, simplify it. And the idea here really is to give you some actionable insights. And as per me, maybe more importantly, the confidence to move forward successfully with all these changes. Right. So with that being said, I did have a 45-minute kind of preamble here again that got quashed. Alex, Lewis, James is all I'm allowed to say on this slide. Two really smart guys and this MC type fellow here. Our partner program advisors. I will go on a little bit just because I can't sing their praises enough, and I can't just say their names and call it a day. They get to help partners go through everything that concerns their Microsoft Partner Program, their current status, their next steps, requirements, how the points work, and the timing, because everything is just in such a straight line, as you all know. So we get to help make a little bit more sense of all of this, and then I get to lead the Canadian sales for the modern work business. So AI, Teams, Copilot, and all that fun. But today really is partner program specific and why this is important. We also have a full agenda, as you might imagine. But really what we wanted to get to is what this means for you. So we'll certainly address what the changes are, their program requirements, transaction requirements, cashback, promos. And again, you can read through all the documentation that's out there and sit through all the keynotes and all the joy, or you can tune in for 45 minutes. We're going to help distill this, and we do have a few of our friends, and Mr. Silver Fox in particular will be using his we'll be leveraging his name later on to make this a little bit more real. We'll put out a couple of scenarios, and we want to spend a little bit of time there because again, all the theory is great. What this really means for us and for you, most importantly, is why you're here. So just keep in mind as we go through the day, we are very, very mindful of that. And again, with some key takeaways that will be coming. A few housekeeping notes to go along with that. The deck will be shared. So if you throw that in the Q&A pre-answered, you're welcome, as will the recording. So anyone who registered will also receive a copy of this recording. And that being said as well, it is a 45-minute sessions. We are mindful of these changes can be off-putting. So we will be sticking around for an additional 15 minutes at the end of the session to answer if there's additional questions that have been asked. So if your calendar and schedule allow for it, please do stick around and hopefully we can clarify maybe the little details we're going to dig into at a later point, but hopefully we can quash them all today and get you right back on track. So jumping right in. I even have a timer. My speaker notes here telling me I have 3 minutes left. So far, we're doing okay.
Right.
Here we are. So the change is coming. And are you ready? So I want to start really, really quickly with the high level as to why changes, why Microsoft is doing this, kind of to us again. But it really is Microsoft following the trend of the market, whether they're watching the customers at technology adoption cycles. But what Microsoft has done this year with the new solution designations, with the new solution areas, you'll notice a lot less siloed. Just from last year, we had 5 different categories, designations, specializations, and it was a little bit daunting. So this year they are starting to align and to condense them because we're trying to get away from a product push, and it does not sell Microsoft productivity and sell infrastructure and sell AI, but rather the AI will lead to their productivity that'll be hosted on the infrastructure, right? So really it's a solution we're offering as opposed to these point solutions or point products more so. And Microsoft's partner program changes are aligning with that. I don't like to read in these sessions, but I did keep one that I thought was pretty fun, or just it made me sound really smart. And here I am just letting the cat out of the bag here. So here we go. This is entirely James, by the way, and not Copilot, who helped me write this at all. But the FY26 Microsoft Cloud AI Partner Program isn't just a refresh. It's a strategic alignment that reflects how customers are evolving and how partners, so that's you folks, can best meet them where they are. They restricted their priorities around these core solution areas of AI cloud solutions, or AI business solutions, my apologies, cloud and AI platforms, and security. Again, these aren't siloed categories, they're interconnected pillars that define the future of digital transformation. Yeah, that's all. That's verbatim. That's how James speaks. They're right there. But again, just wanted to put this image up on the screen just to let you know where we're going and why these changes are coming into effect.
But it is a good change because it is a change that the financial industry, like the financial space, had done a few decades ago. So whenever you go to the bank, instead of asking for a line of credit or a credit card or a loan, you go in for a financial review, and then the financial advisor will see what situation you have, what goals, what projects you have, and offer solutions. Those solutions will end up being credit cards, loans, mortgages, and things like that. But it's part of your goal. So it does feel a lot better. And Microsoft wants partners to kind of get into that approach with their customers of kind of being a consultant, but being a partner for their customers, being part of that whole business where AI is taking an ever increasing space.
Yep, and that's really it, right? And it's as much for Microsoft and for customer journey, but as for you as well. I get into a lot of these conversations where it is, well, I want to sell AI, my customer needs AI, and it's zoom out. Yes, they want AI at the core. They want productivity, they want security and efficiency. It isn't a one conversation; it is the total journey, so to speak. So yeah, we'll touch more. All of this stuff, by the way, my colleague Mike Davies and myself, we get to work on the modern work side of things here. We'll chat about this stuff. We'll help put some strategies in place with you and for your team so that works for you where you are. Then again, through our partner team, we have access to thousands of partners in North America. If ever there's a weakness that you currently see or a gap in your offering, connect with us. We'll connect you with a partner that may be able to supplement, and that way we can all thrive through this landscape together. So we will get right into the program requirements. Again, we want to leave a lot of time for these scenarios. Mm-hmm. So what has changed around the program requirements? Alex, why don't you give us a kickoff here?
Yep, and again, I'll try myself as well to go as fast as possible. So if you are watching it for the first time right now, don't worry about it. You'll be able to watch the recording later, or go on the YouTube channel, pause on the screens that you need to. You'll see the URLs for everything that you need to do. So here we go. So as far as being a part of the program, so being a CSP indirect reseller, which is what you are if you are transacting through Sherweb, you will need to have completed your business vetting. So in the partner center, your standing must be authorized and active. You will need to have a minimum of $1,000 Microsoft billed revenue over the last 12 months. This is a requirement that has been in place for a few years, but Microsoft says they're going to enforce it now. So it should weed out non-partners that are kind of abusing the kindness of Microsoft for those partner offers. You will need to complete the mandatory security requirements, the Partner Center Secure Score, which has caused a lot of confusions to partners because you don't have access to it yet. And then you will also need to have accepted the Microsoft Partner Agreement, and we'll also show you exactly where to do that as well. So if we keep going, for the mandatory security requirements, which are subject to change because this is supposed to come on October 1st. But like I just mentioned, indirect resellers don't have access to the workspace where they can validate those requirements. So we do suspect that Microsoft may end up pushing this date if they do not make that workspace available very soon. In the meantime,
question / potential wrench in your wheels here, Alex. Is this a view or something that we have access to that we can assist with, or is this just not yet available?
This is if you are a direct CSP or an indirect provider like Sherweb, we have access to this space for our score. So we can validate if we are compliant, but we cannot validate for our indirect resellers. We have worked, but it is a good question because we have worked on something that I will mention a little bit later, and that we have devoted a full webinar on Tuesday on how we can help partners stay compliant with the Office Protect. But in the meantime, or for partners that don't use Office Protect, here are the two requirements for indirect resellers. It is not a 80-point score. It is not a percentage that you need to maintain. It is these two requirements. The first one, having MFA for all the admins that have access to your CSP tenant. So it is not all of the admin roles, but it pretty much is. So by default, you should have either the security defaults enabled on your tenant or have some sort of conditional access policies. You should be able to audit this with the security workspace whenever it becomes available. It will show you as either being compliant or non-compliant and why, like who is not compliant and how to remedy that. The other aspect, very simple in theory. You will need to go in the legal info section. And I believe I've even just added another slide on the right after this to show where to go for the security contact. If you want to move to this one, yep. And you will need to see if you have a security contact right below the primary contact. If you do not, you'll need to update your company details for just the security contacts. Microsoft has a note in there that if the only thing that you're updating is the security contact, it will not re-trigger a validation. But if you have to update anything else, like if all you're trying to do is update the security contact, when it says, hey, we need to update your address or your company name is not right and all that, get ready to having to go through the whole validation process again, because Microsoft is really big on compliance now. So it means that they found something that wasn't sitting right with your account that you have to go through again. So this one is coming in again on October 1st. For the transaction requirements, for a lot of you that I've been meeting with since August 6th, we've been talking about upcoming September requirements on Reddit, and up in the wild, we've also talked about upcoming September requirements. But as of Tuesday, this September date was postponed to December. So as of December, in order to remain compliant for transactions, you will need to have an active CSP tenant associated with the correct partner location ID. A lot of partners, unfortunately, in the case of Sherweb, it's a lot of partners that were with Sherweb for a long time. And a long time ago, whenever they created their Cumulus account, they put in their one ID that they had from Microsoft, their MPN ID. But over the years, Microsoft has evolved this program, and this identifier that you have in Cumulus may no longer be the right one. So if it is the global partner ID, it's not the right one. It needs to be the location partner ID. But ever since Microsoft has made that change, they've still allowed the transactions to go through. So partners who've had the wrong partner ID in Cumulus, we're still getting all of their kickbacks and all of the recognition from Microsoft. This is what's about to change as of December now. So if you do not update it to the right partner ID with Cumulus, you will potentially lose the recognition for your customers and the cashback. So points and cashbacks. It's not going to affect your GDAP relationships. It's not going to affect the service for your end customers, but this is particular to Sherweb. So if you're not with Sherweb, it may actually stop you from doing transactions. But for Sherweb partners specifically, things are still going to go through, but we don't want you to run into that issue. So we do have a report from Microsoft for compliance. So we've been helping our partners update that partner ID. But if we'll move to the next slide, we can see where first the agreements are in the partner center. So here's the URL. Here's where you can see the agreements. You'll want to have a CSP and a Microsoft AI Cloud Partner Program agreement. And I'm also putting on the picture to try to save myself some emails. I just want to skip back just a second. In red, like circled, like that you have a CSP agreement that's showing not accepted. But this is the preview one that will not become active until October. So it's normal that you have a CSP agreement that's not accepted. As long as you have one that's also accepted, you're fine. And then, for the next one, for where to find your CSP identifier. So in the Partner Center, go to Identifiers, click on that CSP button when it eventually loads up. Yes, Partner Center is slow. And then take that partner ID. And if you'll see, there's even a sentence that says that I've underlined to share this with your CSP and direct provider. It also shows the country, the region that your location is in. So if you have a Canadian partner ID, it's for your Canadian Cumulus account. You can't do a mix of countries. As of December 1st, it's gonna cause problems. And then in Cumulus, I think this is the last slide on the subject. We have a partner profile section where it says Microsoft Partner ID. This is the only field that you can update, and Cumulus does check on its validity. So whenever you are going to update it, if it's not a partner location ID that makes you compliant, Cumulus won't accept it. So you should, whenever Cumulus accepts your new partner ID, you should be, kind of assured that now you are compliant. And then, as I kind of hinted to, and that we did a whole webinar on Tuesday, because Microsoft has not given indirect resellers access to the security workspace where they can validate the compliance status for the new security requirements upcoming on October 1st, our team has worked so that the Office Protect service that we have, whenever they use it for their own company, so completely free of charge to our partners, they are able to use the same type of tools that Microsoft is using for that security workspace to validate their compliance requirements. We're not only showing them the mandatory ones that are coming right now, but also the recommended ones that are upcoming. And as my colleague Guillaume said in that webinar, what is recommended today by Microsoft is mandatory tomorrow. So it is a good idea to get in front of those types of requirements to see where you want your business to go as well, in case you want to stay in the program for more than another couple of years. So this is available through all Sherweb partners, through our not for resale offer. And again, it uses the same type of tools and reports to be able to tell you if you are compliant before having access to that security workspace.
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds super useful. That's one I'd caught wind of, recently here, and one I'm really excited to get my own hands on there. So really, really quickly as we keep going here, well, I want to do this quick question for all of you in attendance here. A quick little poll, just take a quick look here. So just as we went through kind of the first part of it, I just wanted to get a sanity check or a pulse to see where everyone is. Also something, and entirely my omission there. Feel free to use the Q&A. Feel free to use the chat. We do see the questions there. We will be getting to them. Maybe even right now as we transition to the next topic and we wait for the poll results to come through. There are a few in the chat. So Alex, I will go really, really quickly for you here. Sorry, there's a few. Let's go back. Here we go. Sorry. How does the trailing 12-month revenue requirements work for a new indirect reseller?
Oh, that's a great question. So for any new indirect reseller, and this would also qualify for a new partner location. So if you are headquartered in New York City and you're opening up a new branch in Denver, well, that new branch in Denver and any new CSP indirect reseller has a full year grace period to establish that $1,000 trailing 12-month revenue. So, to establish the trailing 12 months. And then if you do not meet those requirements after 12 months, you do get a warning from Microsoft about how much time you'll need to get. And it's at least an extra 90 days that you'll be able to have to make that $1,000 requirement.
Awesome. We'll do one more really quick one, just staying in that train of thought. And what would count towards the $1,000 spend requirement? Is that all Office products?
Any Microsoft build revenue. So it counts Azure, counts Dynamics 365, Power Platform, M365, Office 365, anything like nonprofit but paid for, educational but paid for, EA. So it really is anything Microsoft.
Anything revenue generating.
Yeah.
Awesome. There are plenty more questions. Rest assured, we will get to them. Hopefully during the main part of the session, if not during the Q&A at the end. But we do have our good friend Louis here, who is not only a pretty face, but a pretty smart guy. So he'll take us through a little bit of what the cashback qualifications will look like for the next few minutes here.
Yeah, you're too kind, James. But hey, everyone, my name's Louis. I am a Microsoft partner advisor, similar to Alex. Going to be talking a little bit about some of the changes coming up October 1st to the qualifications that you would need as a partner to earn rebates from Microsoft, as well as some of the changes coming to those rebate percentages that you'll earn back from Microsoft for different deployments and license types. So let's jump in. Yeah. So I'm gonna and throughout my segment, I'm going to explain the way that it worked for Microsoft's fiscal year 25, and then the way that these changes are going to go into effect post October 1st. So the fiscal year 26 um, guidelines. Yes, Microsoft's fiscal year resets at the beginning of July, but the changes are actually going to go into effect at the beginning of October. So, and I'll take a step back too to say I believe that this is a positive change. I'm not just saying that because I'm somebody that talks about these changes daily, but because I'll always give my honest thoughts on how I feel about changes coming from Microsoft. And overall, I believe they are making these rebate funds more accessible to different partners, which I think overall is a positive. All right, so for fiscal year 25, and this is what the requirements are today. So essentially, the CSP authorization and the trailing 12 months $25,000 revenue is going to hold true both for last fiscal year and the next fiscal year. For the business applications and modern work incentives, any of the solution partner designations will allow you to earn rebates for those two clouds. The way that works is you would need 70 points in one of the designation areas, and then you would pay Microsoft $5,000 USD in order to enroll. Or we talked a little bit about those legacy silver and gold memberships. It's possible that that a partner had renewed that within the past year. That will also qualify you for rebates. It's no longer possible to renew those legacy rebate options. And you'll see that, come October 1st, it's no longer an eligible way to be able to earn rebates. For Azure incentives, it's going to be one of the three Azure designations or silver or gold, same that I mentioned for business applications and modern work. All right, so fiscal year 26. So these are the changes going into effect October 1st. Instead of having to earn 70 points and pay for the designation, you can now start to earn rebates as of October 1st by just scoring 25 points in the relevant solution area. So for modern work, if you have 25 points in either security or modern work, you'll be able to earn rebates for your modern work licenses. For Azure, you would need just 25 points in one of the three Azure designations. And then for business applications, you would just need 25 points in the business applications designation. So obviously, earning the 70 points and paying for the designation is still an option. You'll still earn rebates that way as well. But Microsoft is making it a little bit easier. Should you go the 25-point route, there's no fee associated to that. So you're not going to get all of the internal licenses that you would get if you paid for the designation, but you would still earn rebates if you earn the 25 points with no fee associated to it. So overall, I think a very positive change and making these rebate funds accessible to a lot more partners by making that change. Let's go ahead and jump to the rebate percentages themselves. Yep. So each cloud is going to have different percentages for different license types or deployments. I'm going to kind of quickly go through the rates from last year. They're still kind of relevant. You'll see what I mean towards the end of my segment. But I'm really going to focus on the rates that for fiscal year 26. So for modern work, that core incentive, that 3.75%, that's going to apply to anything under the modern work umbrella. So business basic, business standard, Intune, Entra ID, ME3, ME5, OE3, OE5, anything under the umbrella of modern work is at least going to get that 3.75% core incentive. Now, the accelerators are always going to stack on top of the core incentive. So for that global strategic product accelerator for business premium and ME3, that 5% from last year stacked on top of the 3.75%. So that would give you 8.75 total for BP and ME3. Both the US and Canada are innovate and balanced countries. So just wanted to point that out. And then for that Global Strategic Product Accelerator Tier 2 for ME5 and Copilot, that 7% got stacked on top of that core incentive. So you'd earn a total of 10.75% for those two license types. License types. For the Global Calling and Conference PSTN Accelerator, I know the dial out minutes is one of the ones included in that. There's a big product addendum that outlines exactly what's included in that, but it's not everything in that Teams phone ecosystem. So just be aware. For the customer ad, that's essentially a 15% accelerator for a tenant that has no prior modern work spend. That's pretty rare to find. I typically tell partners if you're spinning up the tenant for the customer for the first time, maybe they're migrating from on-prem Exchange or Google Workspace, you'll earn that accelerator. And because it's pretty rare to find a already existing tenant that doesn't have any modern work spend associated to it in the past. So just wanted to point that out. All right, and then changes for fiscal year 26, which your payouts will reflect these changes as of October 1st. The core incentive staying the same at 3.75%. That Global Strategic Product Accelerator, same two license types, but it dropped from 5% to 3%. ME5 and Copilot stayed the same for the Global Strategic Product Accelerator Tier 2, stayed the same at 7%. Keep in mind, too, it's same as last year, added on top of that core incentive. So you'd earn a total of 10.75% back for ME5 and Copilot. Global Calling and Conference PSTN Accelerator didn't change. And then the Growth Accelerator works a little bit differently than that Customer Ad Accelerator. That's essentially looking at year-over-year growth, specifically for those 4 license types that have the Global Strategic Product Accelerator. So Business Premium, ME3, ME5, and Copilot are all eligible for that Growth Accelerator. The example I like to use is, let's say in July of 2024, you had a customer that was consuming $1,000 worth of Business Premium monthly. Well, if in July of 2025, they're consuming $2,000 worth of Business Premium monthly, that additional $1,000 would get that 7.5 accelerator. And again, keep in mind that's just for Business Premium, ME3, ME5, and Copilot. All right, I think we got Dynamics up next. So for last year, core incentive 4.75%. Anything under the business applications umbrella, that's all of your Dynamics and Power Platform licensing. Finance and supply chain has that 7.5% accelerator. So you would add that on the core incentive, which would be 12.25%. Business Central had a 10% accelerator, so you'd add that to the 4.75% for the core incentive, so 14.75% for Business Central licensing. And then Customer Ad Accelerator, it worked the same as the Customer Ad Accelerator in Modern Work. That's for a tenant that had no prior business applications spend. So you know if it's a new tenant for the customer that it would get that. If it was an already existing customer or tenant, if they didn't have any prior Dynamics or business application spend, you would get that accelerator. All right, so for the new fiscal year, 4% core incentive dropped from 4.75 to 4. The finance and supply chain global strategic product accelerator dropped from 7.5 to 7. Remember, that's always added on top of the core, so it would be 11% total for those license types. Business Central dropped from 10 to 8, so that would be 12% total, because again, you add it to the core. And then the growth accelerator works the same as modern work in the sense where it is trailing 12-month year-over-year growth of the business applications spend for the customer. So any additional spend year over year would get that 7.5 accelerator. I'll take a quick step back to say, you might notice that these rates are dropping in a lot of cases, but I will say that Microsoft is making these funds eligible for many more partners by that 25-point change. So I think that, it's justified for them to pull back the rebate percentages a little bit in the same lens that they're making it accessible to many more partners. So something I just wanted to talk through there.
Maybe another quick one here, especially in Dynamics Power Platform, not something I get to play enough. What was I going to say here? For the growth accelerator, is that just on the Business Central, finance and supply chain, similar to what we saw in modern work, or is that across anything in the D365 or Power Platform space?
It doesn't specify in the commerce incentives guide. I believe it is to anything under the umbrella of business applications. But that's a great question, and one that we have not gotten confirmation from Microsoft on.
Yeah, but I read it the same way as you do, but also not gotten any confirmation from Microsoft.
Yeah, it doesn't
Just-
specify, but I believe it's anything under that umbrella.
Okay. Awesome. I'm just here to throw wrench in the new wheels, right? So
I can tell.
enjoy, have fun. No, I'm back at it.
All right. So for the Azure cashbacks, if we're looking at last year's rates, 4% for PayG, 10% for RIs and savings plan. Both that Azure AI Accelerator and Azure Workload Accelerator has specific workloads that are associated to it. Keep in mind those accelerators were stacked on top of any core incentive in this cloud. And then for the customer ads worked the same, where if there was a tenant that had no prior Azure spend, you would get that accelerator. The way that it's working in for fiscal year 26 as of October 1st is going to be 3% for PayG, 3% for RIs and savings plan. And then that growth accelerator, it works the same as the last two clouds where it's looking at year over year Azure growth. And you would get that 7.5% rebate on the year over year growth for any of the Azure clients that you've got.
Super cool. And keep in mind, right? It is 45 minutes. You me, I'm watching the time. I'm like, how are we going to do this? So it's really a crash course, an overview. It's an intro too. Do reach out to Lewis, to Alex. You can reach out through your contacts already established here at Sherweb. If not, we have a link in the chat there to reach out to partners at Sherweb as well. We'll get you connected and set up with someone. We can go do deep dives with you on this. Again, these two folks will take the time to comb through what it means really for you in particular. Really quickly, Louis, I know you have a little bit left here. There were two quick questions that we had. There are many, many more. Again, not to overlook anyone else in the chat here. I just want to keep these in here. When it comes to the points and the scoring, so this goes back a little bit here. But do they have the option to choose between the 25 points or the 70 points?
So as long as they have 25 points after October 1st, they'll start to earn rebates. There's another step where you have to essentially set up a bank account so that Microsoft has somewhere to send the money. But there's no, if you go the 25 points route, to my knowledge, there's no like active enrollment. It's just earning the 25 points in that solution area is enough. And having that bank account set up will allow, as long as you met those other two requirements that I mentioned at the beginning around CSP authorization and the trailing 12-month revenue threshold, you'll just start to earn. For the 70 points, yes, there is an active enrollment step. You have to pay Microsoft $5,000 USD. And so for the 25 points route, no. For the 70 points purchasing the designation route, yes, there's an active enrollment step.
Awesome. Thanks, sir.
Cool. So the reason that I was saying that the fiscal year 25 rebates are still somewhat relevant. And of course, it's always good to just discuss what the changes look like. But if you want to jump to the next slide, I'm going to confuse everybody. So I'm just going to preface this by saying that this is just objectively confusing. Essentially, Microsoft is going to look at your rebate payout from the beginning of July until the end of September. Technically, those payouts are going to be based on on the fiscal year 25 rates. Now, what's going to happen in February of 2026 is Microsoft is going to compare those payouts to what the payouts would have been if they had been done on the fiscal year 26 rebate rates. And they will either pay you out the additional amount that you would have earned, or honestly, more likely, deduct from a future payout the difference. So if you would have gotten paid out less on the fiscal year 26 rates than on the fiscal year 25 rates, they're going to deduct that difference from a future payout. So admittedly, that's going to make things pretty tough to audit. But I just wanted to be, transparent about like how Microsoft is going to handle, those payouts from beginning of July until the end of September of 2024. And, give you a heads up that you might see some weirdness. It'll probably be in like March or April when that, new payout deduction or credit would be applied.
Really easy slide to follow and really easy timeline. We're all sitting here like, move on. But yeah, no, thank you, Louis. And again, just a reminder for anyone who's looking at this, like I am, or my eyes are kind of crossing here and I'm really trying hard to focus. We have good friends here, right? We have Louis, we have Alex, we have Rash, we have other members of the team, myself included, to varying degrees here. We can walk you through all of this and I'll keep tabs on it the best as what's available as we go through.
Absolutely. Yep, this slide just kind of reiterates my uh, my speech from the last one. So I think I'm all good from my side.
Awesome. Yeah. So this is a lot more. There's a lot more James speed right here. So FY26 until October. I'm probably going to get this wrong, but then payouts will be sloppy come September. If I was to say that in my own words, not reading a script clearly on that one.
It'll be February of next year when that recalculation happens. So that's when I would expect to see the weirdness. Just as a heads up.
So it's coming. You've been forewarned. We're just ripping off the Band-Aid here. We're just the messengers. But again, we'll help you try and make sense of it as much as what's available. For the, I just saw a question pop in. I'll start really, really quick. Somebody just joined. Yes, the recording will be made available anywhere between 48 hours and 168 hours, NCE math. But in the next 2 to 7 days, we'll have the recording. The slide deck will all be available to you. And we remain available throughout. Really, really quickly. So here we're looking at about a lot of the money that's going to come on the back end, or a lot of the ways we can use to a lot of the funds available as incentives from Microsoft for doing the thing, for executing and putting the right solutions in front of our customers, ensure they're adopting it and growing and that usage so importantly. But then for us to kind of spread our wings a little bit and understand that Azure and Copilot aren't separate, but really the same, similar to Power Platform and modern work, right? These are all productivity. So really the solution that we're looking to offer. On the front end, Microsoft has also equipped us with a few tools. Hopefully many of you do know about this. There are just over 30 days left on this one in particular, so I really want to call some attention to it. This is the Copilot promotion. It's been out for some time. It has since been extended now until the end of September. So again, that 30 days or so left. This does give a 15% discount on the purchase, on the net new purchase rather, of Copilot for 365. So this means when you add new seats, you can already have existing Copilot seats. Okay, so I want to let that sit. You can have existing Copilot seats, but for adding 10 more, you'll then get a 15% discount on those 10 licenses, plus any subsequent licenses added during the promotional period. So again, that's a 1-year promotional offer that's available. Minimum 10 seats. Yeah, that's the good stuff there. What's more, when you look at that Copilot promotion, that Copilot SKU, it comes with 2 bonus options, or I like to think of them this way. So SharePoint Advanced Management, or SAM, is included with Copilot for 365. Right? This is normally a paid add-on or included in some of the higher end suites, but this is actually built in. So to get that data governance locked down without having to get into 10 add-ons to get there and move your customer right up to an E5. That's a wonderful little throw-in from Microsoft there. And then again, building on that compliance, that data security, again, all of this integrates. There is an E5 compliance offers. This is 50% off. We don't get 50% off very much to work within our space here. So try and leverage this one, obviously where it fits for your customers. But as long as you buy one Copilot seat, the fine print does say you can purchase as many E5 compliance licenses. So not to say abuse the promo, but if you're a good salesperson, you know the rules and you play within them. This is a rule that they have left open for us. So do take advantage as much as it makes sense for your customer base. 2 more promos and we'll go talk through some of our friends, I believe, right after this. E3 and E5s, there are promotions that are available as well, expiring also on September 30th. So this does seem to be, or it does coincide with the end of Microsoft's Q1. 15% off. These are net new. So if you had even one E3 or one E5, that would generally exclude the customer. I always say, give us a shot. If we're looking to add, let's say, upgrade 200 E5s, we only had 1 or 2 of them in place, let's say for testing, we're going to make some asks and we're going to see what we can do to help support you and make sure we can extend that value to the customer. But these promotions are there. They are available. 50% off. Again, it's a pretty healthy discount, especially considering that's for the full year. And these licenses are not $1 licenses. So there's some good funds here for you. And the other one, right, we're starting to look at competing against in different markets or moving upstream into larger opportunities and working with larger customers. Microsoft has launched 3-year plans. They had launched a few, and slowly they're expanding that stack. They are really proud of these two, so E3 and 5. Absolutely, these are the ones we are looking to win from EAs typically. Well, these also have a 10% discount applicable for the duration of the term. It is a 3-year term, so this is really nice because it does get that cost certainty. And again, it can help us to compete against those E5s. And then E5 compliance and E5 security also have 10% promos. We're also have promos available that expire just at the end of this calendar year. That's it. All right, we get 5 minutes. We have some scenarios. Okay, so I firmly believe everything we went through there was valuable, albeit maybe introductory level for some of you. Do double click, reach out. We'll spend the time. What happens if, or what's something that is more relatable, right? So we had a few friends, and we gotta love their names. We're gonna start by taking a look at our good friend Ashton Parker from Parker and Associates. So maybe Alex, if I start off with you here, you've been quieter than I know you to be. Tell us a little bit about the scenario we're looking at here.
Okay, so again, like whenever you go through Microsoft conferences or webinars like that, they do have like a making it real type scenario, and a lot of time we find it that for the SMB space, they're making it real is a bit less real than it should be. So we've tried to create with our own, scenarios that feel more appropriate to the type of partners that we would get. So hopefully it gives you an idea as a partner, one of these scenarios of where to go, what kind of advice we would be giving you if this was you. So for Parker and Associates, they have about $4,000 of Microsoft Build revenue. None of it is in Azure. They've been a legacy silver partner for a long time, but they've let it expire way back in June 2023. They currently have 10 points in the security SMB path and 0 in Azure and 7 and 7 points in modern work. No certifications done. They have 2 total employees, including part-time contractors and all that. So, the typical very small MSP, kind of a one-man, and his brother-in-law type situation. So for this partner, I would personally recommend that they go for the modern work SMB path, but purely on the certification level, because with 2 people, they are able to earn 25 points just from certifications, which will qualify them for the cashback program starting on October 1st. And for their internal needs, I would recommend the partner launch benefits, because that includes licenses for up to 5 users. And as soon as you need more licenses than for 1 user, it ends up being a rebate versus purchasing them directly from Microsoft. So that's what I would recommend for this partner.
Smart guy, this Alex. That was pretty cool. So yeah, these are the types of insights again we were hoping to get out here, and not saying we rush through the rest, but this is the really good stuff. I will let's do one more here, Lewis, and we'll jump back more. The session does end in about 4 minutes here. So we'll do one more, and then we'll wrap up the session. We'll come back to Q&A for those who have time to hang around with us just a bit longer.
Yeah.
So Lewis, on you.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, so if I were talking to Susan, as you can see, doing a decent amount of Microsoft Build revenue at 60K, 5K of Azure, and 1,000 of Dynamics. So spread across all 3 clouds, has some Azure business. The solution for modern work membership renewal in December 10th tells me that they had it last year. Currently at 80 points in security, 30 in Azure, 10 in modern work, and 3 in business applications. So my recommendation, since they already have more than enough points in security at that time of renewal, I would talk to them a little bit first about like the types of licenses they would need for those employees. So if they do renew with the security designation, they're going to get more than enough licenses to license their entire internal staff. So more than likely, the licenses that are going to be included with that will be satisfactory to the use cases for those employees. Now, for Azure, that's kind of the one I would want to hone in on, because they're going to already have enough points to start to earn rebates for their Azure practice, because 25 is the minimum. to earn rebates. But there are some cool funding options for partners that end up earning that Azure designation. So I would talk to them a little bit about the type of Azure opportunities that they have, and if they, find opportunities that would be a good fit for the funding options Microsoft would offer if they got the designation. Because those funding options are only going to be available if they actually earn the designation, not just by having the 25 points. I would see, if they believe that those funding options are going to be relevant for them, I would encourage them to pursue actually getting one or multiple of those Azure designations too. So they'll get the rebates that we talked about earlier either way, just by having the at least 25 points in the Azure space, in the Azure scoring area. But again, there are different funding options if they actually earn the designation. So I would kind of like give them an outline of what that looks like and see if it's going to be worth pursuing for them. Um, and then in business applications, I see they're doing some business there. So if they can get to the 25 points and if they think they're going to take on more Dynamics projects, I would recommend they at least get the 25 points there so they can earn rebates for those as well. So yeah, that's how I'd handle Susan and her township rebellion.
Yep. No, that is awesome, Susan. Brave Blade definitely is sitting here thanking you somewhere in the ether here. So no, that's great, and these types of insights again. That was so cool. I didn't have much to piggyback on top of there. I think that's straight to the point. We had one or two more. Whoops. Oh man, I'm all over here. All right, so we're going to look at one or two more scenarios right after this short break here as we just wrap up the session. You can download a guide, so feel free to use this QR code. We promise it's legit, but do scan it really quickly here. You can get our guide. If not, again, you'll have this in the deck that we'll be sending out following the session here. Key takeaways. Maybe really quickly. Maybe I'll kick it off here just to get the ball rolling. So as part of your solution designation, your partnership with Microsoft, do ensure you do have the security contact set and have MFA for all admins. We preach MFA, you preach MFA to all your customers. Live that reality to the best of your ability. Just imagine how much access you have as an admin and then admin to all your customers. Kind of do your part and help keep the channel safe. I'll throw it to Alex or Lewis. I'll let you guys.
I'll do the second part. So for partner record, right, make sure you have the right partner ID in Cumulus. It's not coming September 1st. It's coming December 1st, but we don't want you to lose recognition for your customers. In this webinar, we've shown where to find your partner ID in the Partner Center and where to apply it in Cumulus. So wait for the recording or, wait to go on the YouTube channel to be able to find that as well. And for the 25 points, Louis?
Yeah. So like I mentioned earlier, as long as you have 25 points in the scoring area that you'd like to earn rebates from, come October 1st, you'll be in a good space. And there are some benefits, at least in the Azure and security designations, that you can get by actually earning the designation on, that are available to you only if you actually pay for that designation. So, kind of like what we're talking about now, if you feel like that might be relevant to you, Alex and I are available for a call if you're a current partner already. If you're a prospect, you'd need to sign up, but, we'd love to talk to you about your specific posture and how we can help you earn the most from Microsoft as possible.
Yep, and signups are free, right? It's not like God, just sign up, and we'll help you. All you have to, right? There's no golden tickets here. It's come in, be a partner, grow with us. We're going to lean into each other here, and we're going to be successful together. So thank you, Alex. Thank you, Lewis. Again, we will keep going. Before everyone does jump on us, so someone just about to leave, not just yet, 5 more seconds. Really quick last thought before any of you leave out here. These polls are not just for fun. It really does help us to tailor our content and make sure how much, let's say, airtime we get to have on the topic here. And obviously, given the attendance is one that's very important to many of you. So just let us know if this is helping, if we're in the right direction here. Again, we don't do webinars for the sake of doing webinars, but as long as there's value, right? It's really all that's what we're all about. So that's awesome. Thank you to everyone for taking the time there. Let me see if we have anything else fun, or if we go back and do some more scenarios. Yeah, maybe a last call out and we'll go back to the scenarios here. So do join up at sherweb.com/partners. Reach out to your points of contact here. Our CST team is amazing as well. So reach out to any of us, LinkedIn, what have you, and we'll make sure to make sure we all get to move forward together.
Yep, and what was great with the one scenario that Louis went over was that depending on the answer that the partner would have given, his advice would have also changed, right? So
Right.
he gave us, well, if she answers this, this is the advice that I would give. So it really is to try to kind of showcase what our job actually is. It isn't to give you, the headlines of the Microsoft changes, but really is to give you advice specific to your goals and your situation.
Yeah, it's tailored, right? There is no one size fits all. There's everyone in attendance today has a slightly different balance of customers between the clouds and their internal expertise and staff size, etc. So yeah, again, it is that. It's not a big box thing for anyone who's worked with us for a while. We aren't just blasting stuff out there. It really is all made to measure for upper 90% percentile of what we get to do here. Let's do one more.
Yeah, Mr. Silver Fox. Yeah, you.
I teased him earlier, so we got to bring Johnny into this. So I'll read out the scenario here really quickly. So Mr. Silver Fox here has a 9K of MR with Microsoft in Microsoft bill revenue, 500 of Azure. So Legacy Silver partner, and it's expiring November 2025. He has 40 points in security, 10 in Azure, no certs. And 15 points in modern work. Again, no certs there. Total employees is 11, and that includes some part-time contractors. Alex, you want to go for this one?
Yep. So let's say for this one that when I asked this partner about their focus on security, he says it's a nice to have, but not their main priority for next year. Because if they had said, it is our focus, my answer will be completely different than the one I'm about to give now, right? So since it is not a focus, we now know that, having the 40 points in security SMB will qualify them for the cashbacks starting in October. And if they were to ever dip below 25 points, they do have up to 6 months to get back above that 25 points before they forfeit any cashbacks. I saw one of that as a question earlier as well. So 40 is enough of a buffer for me to say, hey, you could, kind of count this as a given and actually look to get more cashbacks. So the one that I would want to focus on is the fact that they have 10 points in Azure already, but no certifications at all. Since they are on the SMB path, one person would be able to earn 16 points in Azure. So that would put them above the 25-point threshold so they can start qualifying for those cashbacks. And then I would introduce them to Louis so that he could talk to them about getting to that designation so that he can get extra funding on those. As far as the free licenses that they used to get from their Legacy Silver package, because they're 11 employees and there's no longer required to have a certain package to qualify for the cashbacks, the Partner Success Core benefits would be perfect for this partner because it includes licenses for 15 employees. If you ever see the license count, the type of licenses that you get in those partner packages, you will see that it's business premium with no Teams, but it does include Teams Enterprise. It also includes Power BI Premium, Defender P2, and Entra P2. So it really is a pseudo E5 with a smaller inbox.
Yeah, see, that's the type of stuff you can find online, folks.
Nope.
That's awesome. Let us do. I'd seen one for you, Louis, just a second ago, and I just kept reading and I absolutely lost it. Okay, well, here's a quick one in the meantime. How can we get one of you to review our current posture to point us in the right direction? Well, that if you have a point of contact at Sherweb, definitely do reach out to them. If not, feel free to reach out to Louis, Alex, or myself on LinkedIn. We'll bring it back into the kind of the more formal channel just so we can make sure we're all aligned. But reach out, I think, is the simplest way. Where we don't just show up and say this. The other 360 days a year, we are actively in these tenants going through these environments, these exercises. So just reach out. I think just ask. And again, reach out on LinkedIn if ever your point of contact isn't getting you in the right direction, we'll be very happy to take a look at all this with you. One more. Okay, well, let's do one a little bit more on my side here. So, what's the advantage of the 3-year subscriptions? Can you get an estimate of the discount? So, there is no additional discount when it comes to the 3-year terms. It is cost certainty, is really what we're offering there when we look at these longer term subscriptions. I2 was like, well, 3 years. Well, then if the monthly is this and the annual paid monthly is that and yearly paid upfront is that, well, then 3-year. That's too logical. I'll stop you right there. It really is just the cost certainty being locked in for the duration of the term. That is a benefit. 2025 is kind of a weird world. That cost certainty could alone help us to rest easier, especially when we're used to the old EA or customers coming from an EA and that way of doing things. It's just the way that it gives us a little bit more tools in our toolkit. You can always look at staggering the terms as well and doing some on 3 years, some on 1 year, and some on even on monthly. So now we have the cost certainty of the 3-year EA style, the 3-year terms there, but then the flexibility annual or monthly as for your customers' kind of business fluctuations. Replays will be available. We answered about the points. The scoring. So there's another question here. We're new to this. Can you elaborate on how the scoring or point system works? Yes, absolutely. I think that's a little bit more of an involved conversation, unless anybody had a kind of a 1 or 2 minute wait to look at that.
I can try to even be less than 1 minute. So whenever your customers consume Microsoft products, as long as they are 11 or more users in attendance, they will generate MAUs, and those units will be will convert into points for you. There are 6 solution areas, all on a scale of 100. And getting points in those certain areas will reach the goals that we described throughout the webinar. So 70 points to be solutions partner, but 25 points to qualify for the cashbacks.
Well, that's better. That's obviously better than I could have done. I'm going to read this one because it starts off really, really strong. If anyone wants their questions read, always start it off like this. Love you guys, and I like the Office Protect Protect option, but now we need to get some additional access. So yeah, absolutely. So that you can work with our point of contact here, and we'll absolutely get you set up on the with Office Protect if you're not using it. Absolutely worth addressing. There's another question around the Office Protect as well. Reach out to your account rep, to your point of contact, our customer service team, what have you. This is absolutely something that's available to our partners. So ask. You'll be surprised. Like our team is really forthcoming with all of this stuff. If you work with some of the others, you might gate a little bit more of the dollars there. And then the services and support that we really are as forthcoming as it gets in the field. I think there is maybe one last. There's another Q&A. How can we become a partner? We had that slide up a second ago. Modernize endpoints. Here's another one here, maybe for you, Lewis. Is the 25,000 TTM per location? I don't think it was 25,000.
For the to earn rebates, I believe so. Alex, you know the answer to that? I assume that it's per location.
Yeah, for it is a change in FY26 because in FY25 it was globally, like across all locations that you have 25,000 trailing 12-month revenue. For FY26, it is per location. So if you are in a buyers group or association where there's a lot of locations, you may want to consolidate some of those locations depending on the total revenue. But it is $25,000 per year, so you're really looking at just a little bit over $2,000 a month. Nothing too dramatic.
Awesome. And there are 1 or 2 more. I do fear they're slightly longer than the kind of 35 seconds before my marketing team gets mad at us here. So what we will do, though, is that if you use the Q&A, we do have access to the names there internally. So we do have your name. We'll be able to reach back out to you. Do ensure that your name appears either in Cumulus, just so we know which company you're associated to, or reach out to any three of us here on screen or your point of contact. We'll absolutely follow up and deep dive and not just kind of give one-to-many kind of high watermark answers here, but really get something a little bit more tailored and specific to your exact scenario. For anyone who did use the chat for the questions, those we may not be able to get back at, but we will, again, when we do our recap, we'll try and put in an FAQ when we do our recap send here in the next few days. With that being said, I thank you all so much. I know we said 45. Gotcha. You're here for 60. But thanks for hanging around. We will keep that in mind as we plan out future sessions as well, knowing this content is so top of mind, and maybe just a little bit to cover in such a time. Alex, Lewis, as always, champs and all-stars. Just a big round of applause here. I'll even we'll do an applause just like that. And for everyone at home, I'm sure we're all applauding here. It's masterful. For any of you who are like me and your eyes crossed and you're just trying to stay alert here, reach out. These guys have us covered. And for us, the team here at Sherweb as well, we're here to support you as well. And we're looking forward to the next time we get to work together. So cheers. Happy FY26 to all, and have a great rest of the day.
Cheers, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.